Aquarius family. I know that there's been a lot of spiritual warfare going on. I haven't been coming on here much lately just because I don't have the time or energy. Content creation is actually very time consuming, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't recognize. You can tell by how swollen my nose is that I just woke up. But I've had a very restless sleep. There's been a lot of malevolent energies in my apartment lately, and they feel more like nuisances than like anything else, but it's been really frustrating, and like I haven't even been able to meditate. So I know that I'm not the only one, and obviously what's going on in the world is what's going on in the world. So I wanted to get this reading out here. I wanted to check in with the energy about what is going on with this spiritual warfare. Innocence in reverse and voodoo in reverse. It seems to me this is actually an attack. This is actually an attack. It failed. This was an attack on the collective. They're really trying to get people to be in a state of fear because they see you getting unstuck. They see you moving forward. They see us progressing, and they don't like that. They don't like that. They know that they can't do anything in the physical because most of you have already cut off the channels through which you were being attacked before, because most of the time those channels are interpersonal relationships. They're like other people, so they know that they cannot get you through this way. You'll notice that I finally was able to like peel almost all of the paint off that I hated, and I think that that is like really relevant because like there's some parts that I couldn't peel off, but like obviously those will be easily covered up with paint. But I do feel like it's really relevant because this all has to do with this great unmasking that's been going on. And if you are one of the chosen, you've been a part of that wave of people unmasking and people stepping into their authentic identity and into their authentic selves in order to truly be in their power. Strength in reverse. I say surrender to like the wave of what's going on. These entities are weaker than we are. They are far, far weaker. Like, honestly, I feel like they're desperate. They're like the lowest of the low is what I'm hearing. They're like the lowest of the low because, and they're also stupid because they're willing to put themselves in these kinds of situations knowing that it's like really, really not good. Knowing that it's like really, really bad for them. And yeah, like these, I'm even picking up like they're not even like it's a renegade energy in that like they have nothing to live for, so they don't care. They're like mercenaries, you know what I mean? Like hired help, basically. They are such bottom feeders that like they are willing to take on any job, even if it's like a promised fail. Nightmares. So this is a Gina that gives a person nightmares. That is what this is. They come to you, it's not a boggart, but they come to you like in the form of your nightmares and try to terrorize you to feed off of your energy. It honestly feels like it could be like it could have attached to your previous attachments that have already been removed. It could have attached to wounds that you haven't yet healed. Vanity. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Unforeseen in reverse. This is something that you've already dealt with. Say, don't let it get you out of your energy, whatever in the reverse. It's not something that you're going to be able to just like, I would say just do your best to not, this is my card for like spiritual warfare. She looks so demonic, right? But it says no F's given. It is the malevolent feminine. It is the Jezebel spirit. Do me first, work in reverse. I think that really it is about just like not feeding this entity. I think is going to be the best course of action. Like, not allowing it to like latch onto your fear. It's important to starve it out. It is a parasite. It is important to starve it out and then like do the magics to get rid of it. Strength in reverse came out again. It is weaker than you. We're going to get some clarifiers from the Cosmic Tarot. I did see the Devil card. It really is trying to keep you trapped in the 3D. It's doing anything that it can. 6 of Wands in reverse. I really don't even feel like it's worth fighting this thing. Ask it what it wants. 3 of Swords in reverse. The Star. Ace of Wands. Okay, well, we're gonna pause and I'm gonna pour libations so that we can go ahead and ask it what it wants. What I picked up in my reading is that this is an entity that does not want you to progress. It is 100% powers and principalities, because I also got this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It is the collective unconscious of these beings that do not want to lose access to the chosen collective, because they know that this new extraterrestrial energy is returning. Like, this extraterrestrial energy that people talk about, it's like, I guess if people are like, oh, the planet Uber, like, it comes, but I've heard that it's not a planet, it's a spaceship. But anyway, that is not the point. It comes every once in a while, every like few million years or something like that. I don't know. But it's not gonna be, it's just like I said, it's not gonna be people. It's going to be energy. It is an energy to be embodied, and that is what is returning, and this is what is breaking. I'm hearing the song World Hold On by Bob Sinclair. The children of the sky free from the shackles, because there is a planetary progression going on that is raising the consciousness of this planet. There are beings that try to entrap and imprison this planet, and that's not being allowed to happen. Okay? All of the heartbreak, everything is being purged from you now. So I don't know that it's like stuff that's being purged. We're gonna go to a part 2. We're gonna go to a part 2. Part 2 of this spiritual warfare reading, I don't think that this is just purging. It definitely is an actual, like, attack. And if everything that you're doing is not working, why? 4 of Swords. 3 of Wands. You need help. You need help. 4 of Swords in reverse. Okay. You need help from a higher power. And part of this is definitely about breaking through the self-limiting beliefs of your family system, of the system that you grew up in, that you inherited. 9 of Wands in the reverse. They really want to keep you trapped. They do not want you to pass this level. They're preying on anything that can, like, anything that's worked in the past. They're putting all of their efforts into that, so that you will not believe that you can win. Don't do anything that, like, you aren't supposed to. For instance, I'm gonna just be very honest, because this is life or death, and I don't need to fucking save my face and save my ass at the same time. I've been wanting to pick up substances hella for like months, and I don't do that. I'm sober 5 years. I think it's like 5.25 years at this point, but I'm sober since May 10th, 2020. And I'm not sober like, oh, that was just a thing that I wanted to be. No, like, I'm sober like life or death sober. Okay, so the fact that this is something that's coming up for me, and just wanting to do all of this impulsive stuff that, like, I know is not good for me. I know it keeps me out of alignment with my higher power. I know that spiritually I disagree with. If you have an addictive behavior or like pattern or something like that, like a self-harming pattern that you participate in, maybe it's spending too much money. going shopping, dating, maybe it's unhealthy sexual relationships, maybe it's codependency with friends, family. As I said, like sexual or actually like romantic partners, because you don't have to have a romance with someone to have an sexual relationship with them. Whatever it is, maybe you're a kleptomaniac. You stopped stealing and now you're back to steal. You can't help it. Every time that you go to a store, you've been desiring to shoplift. You've been staying home because whenever you go somewhere, you want to shoplift or you want to steal stuff. That is what I'm talking about. Like, and if you are no contact with somebody who's really unhealthy for you, and this is really, okay, here's the message. Here it is. Some people, you know that you're not supposed to like be around. You're not supposed to engage with certain people or certain things because it puts you in a certain emotional state, in a certain mental state that keeps you in a karmic loop. So you're not supposed to be engaging with something. If it's the news, then you need to not engage with the news. If it's like, I don't like how this camera is making me look. I don't know why. Anyway, if it's the news, then you need to not be engaging with the news. If it is your family of origin, you need to not be engaging with your family of origin. You need to be taking the next right action. You need to be taking opposite action, because what we need to do in order to overcome addiction is to replace it with something else. When I was getting sober, I was encouraged to eat sweets because, well, when I got sober, I had already quit drinking for 1 year and 4 months, but then I started, but I was still, I don't know what y'all call it these days. I'm trying to remember what people call it, but I don't remember what people call it. Anyway, the devil's lettuce, I was still using the devil's lettuce, and I was still making edibles, eating edibles, selling edibles. But when I got sober, is when people were like, oh yeah, like keep sweets on you because like that will help you. If you get a craving, just eat like a piece of candy. And my sugar consumption went up exponentially. So obviously I gained like a bunch of weight when I got sober after I lost a bunch of weight when I quit drinking. But my sugar consumption went up exponentially when I quit, because it did help me to change, like move a muscle, change a thought, change what I'm doing, change my like mind, and shift out of that perspective or whatever. 555. So they're trying to take us out of our sovereignty by tempting us. Also distractions. Something that keeps surfacing for me right now is that the devil's primary tool, remember, this is the Aetherium. We don't believe in the devil. Like, the adversary, that's a whole different thing. We're not going to get into that conversation right now. Subscribe to my Substack, 𝗪𝗏𝗎, if you want more information on that, but we're not talking about that right now. However, to make it as simplistic as possible for the sake of time, the devil's favorite tool is distraction. They're trying to keep you distracted. Everything that's going on right now is real. Even the distractions are real. But is that taking you out of alignment with your integrity, with your mission, with your purpose? That's what you have to ask yourself. And that's what a lot of people are not clear on. King of Cups, they're trying to, they do not, oh my God, the Lovers and the Two of Cups at the same time. They absolutely do not want you to come into union. They do not want you to come into alignment. And as we say here in the Aetherium, to be in divine union, you have to be in divine union like a romantic partner. You have to be in divine union within yourself. You have to be in divine union within yourself, and you also have to be, and everything in your life is going to come into divine union. If you have karmic friendships, you're not coming into romantic union. If you do, if they're going to push those karmic friendships out. I think there's a filter on that's like smoothing my face and it looks super weird. Anyway, point is, they're trying to tempt you with low low vibrational situations. So whatever is happening right now is an activation. It is an attack to activate your fear receptors, to lock you into a timeline of fear. It is to lock you into anger. It is to lock you into rage and vengeance and depression and all of this shit. And you have to figure out how you're gonna like go up against that, because you get the 10 of Cups in reverse here. That's what they want, is for you to be depressed, feeling alone, feeling unfulfilled, unable to recognize your blessings. That's what they want for you. But 5 of Cups in reverse, that time is over. Recognize that that time is over. We are victorious in the spirit. I'm gonna shuffle again just because like this deck got flipped over, but I think I'm gonna just end with one more part. Part 3 of this reading on the spiritual warfare going on right now. I have been like pretty phlegmatic lately. Like really phlegmatic, and not for nothing, I also just ate a piece of meat, so that'll do it. But you do want to keep like you want to prioritize your health. You want to prioritize eating as much like organic, natural food as possible. And I don't mean like, oh, certified organic, because obviously that's what you want to go for, but I mean stuff that grows from the earth, not like stuff that is made in a factory per se. And that is kind of an unavoidable at this juncture in our lives. And I know that a lot of my collective is neurodivergent, so you know, accessibility wise, it's not fair to just be like, oh, don't eat anything that like is packaged, because when you're low executive functioning, like that is part of why I love sandwiches and burgers so much, because they're just so easy to make when I'm low executive functioning. And I also love the textures usually. And they're very nourishing and very filling, because usually when I'm low executive functioning, all I can really go for are snacks. Like things that are super easy to eat. And right now my teeth are shifting again and they hurt. Like this is some of the most painful that they've ever been. But yeah, Ace of Swords in the direct position. Like they don't want you to come into this information that's coming in. They don't want you to be able to wield your power. They don't want you to come into sovereignty and be able to take over sovereignty for the collective and lead them to 0202 on the fucking timer. They don't want you to be able to take over sovereignty for the collective and lead them out of darkness, to lead them out of Sheol is what I'm hearing, to lead them out of Sheol. Princess of Swords. And I also just want to say, like, I don't even think that this is the time for me to say it. I think I might say it in my newsletter, which I guess I'm gonna probably like do laundry and like work on that. I don't know. I really want to go do my laundry, but at the same time, I'm just like, do I have the time? Anyway, the Empress, they don't want you to be in this power, and they don't want you to go from the Princess of Swords to the Empress. They don't want you to listen to your spirit guides. This is why for me, I've been having trouble like meditating, and it's like, oh, why am I avoiding meditation? Because every time I fucking try to meditate is when I get attacked. But the thing is, like, even if you don't feel like it's a successful meditation, just the act of sitting down and like meditating, whether or not 313 on the timer, whether or not it feels like transcendental experience every single time, it doesn't mean that you didn't do it. You still did meditate. Like, you still made the time to reach for the infinite. You still made the time to be mindful. Like, sometimes the waters are gonna be choppy, and the shoals are going to be treacherous, but you still have to try. Something that happened to me whilst I was in London is like I kept having like trouble breathing deeply, and this has been still happening like since I got back, but like I have had a breathwork practice since about 2020, but I've been meditating since I was, I want to say, a sophomore in high school, maybe even a freshman. My freshman gym teacher, I think, Miss Barber, had a whole unit on mindfulness and meditation. So I learned meditation when I was in my early teens, and I've been doing it ever since. And basically, I can breathe deeply, and I like to check in with myself. It is a little meditation that you can do anywhere, to just take a deep breath, or to do like 3 rounds of polyvagal breathing. Like, that's a little meditation that you can do anywhere. Tap back in with your body, come back to your breath, like recenter yourself really quickly. And I've been really struggling to do that lately. It's because the body is going through a lot of changes. But I also feel like there's a lot of density that we are like progressing through, that's also trying to like keep us trapped. It does not want us to do that. I know that people talk about a firmament. I don't know like what they're talking about. That's never been something that resonates for me. It's never made sense to me. I don't believe that personally. But I was watching 𝗪𝗓 𝗫𝗀𝗨's live. I love 𝗪𝗓, like 5 through 4 on the timer, 5 through 5. I would recommend to anybody to follow her. She's incredible. But she was talking 5, 4, 3. She was talking about how it's like your skull, to your crown chakra. That is what it is. And that actually makes so much more sense to me. And I feel like whatever it is, especially because like the false matrix is ideological, these are like mental interventions to keep you trapped. I feel that like that is, we are breaking past that. We're breaking past the levels of trauma and abuse and programming that, and like indoctrination that has been placed on our crown chakras to keep us from being able to fully access our, and this is really standing out to me here, her starry earring. This is her ability to hear from the cosmos, to hear from the heavens, to hear from the celestials. That is her connection, is her, not even telepathic, but like that, her cosmic connection. You see it on her bonnet. You see that she has this little earth here, you know? Like, she is a heavenly being on earth. But I say that all to say, and I think this is really interesting because if you think about it, in the Noah and the Ark story, like they sent out a bird to go bring back proof of life, right? This is proof of life to me. That nature will bring her whatever she needs because she's in her sovereignty and she's moving with the flow of nature. So we are breaking past that firmament to connect with our, not just our like extra chakra body, but like to connect with the greater of existence and the cosmos and the celestials and the universe at large, where we have been trapped before. We're getting unstuck, we're getting untrapped, and yes, there are going to be a lot of attacks happening, and that is going to look different ways. I haven't finished downloading whatever I'm downloading about this. There's still clarification that's coming in, so I can't speak to that, but that's going to look different for everybody. But that is a lot of what this like attack is, looks like, feels like. I'm gonna go to a part 4 just because I do need to say one last thing, and this is about the food. Part 4, what I was saying is the food. Yeah, it's important to eat things that are actually from the earth, but if you are neurodivergent and you are experiencing low executive functioning, which is likely in this time, my recommendation to you is to, if you're gonna eat pre-packaged food, just make the effort, you know, spend the extra little money on stuff that's actually like, that is organic, that is made with like quality ingredients. I know people are like, oh my god, but Whole Foods is so expensive. Whole Foods 365 is not expensive. Whole Foods 365, Whole Foods brand stuff is actually oftentimes cheaper than stuff that you'll get at the grocery store. It's oftentimes cheaper than brand name Nabisco. If you want to get like their sandwich cookies, if you need to, like, you know, when it comes to addictive behaviors, do the thing that's not going to kill you, okay? So if you are quitting cigarettes and you need to like chew a bunch of gum, like, yeah, maybe that's not good, but like chew the gum. You know, if you're quitting drinking and you need to eat sweets, eat the sweets. I guarantee you that everyone would rather you eat the sweets than you pick up a drink, okay? Like, if you need to eat sweets so that you don't call that person that you were in a DV situation with, like, eat the sweets, okay? So, yeah, you want to try, like, that is a lot of the reason why people fail to successfully get out of these karmic patterns, because they try to change everything at once. They try to move a mountain overnight, and they make mountains out of molehills. Let the molehill be the molehill while you focus on dealing with this mountain one day at a time, one step at a time. When I got sober, it was encouraged, don't try to quit smoking cigarettes, don't try to quit caffeine. Smoke your cigarettes and drink your fucking coffee. Because what you need to focus on is staying sober one day at a time. That's what I was encouraged to do when I got sober. And it has taken me a really long time to be able to amass any longevity with like actually quitting. But I think like the longest time that I've gone is like 6 months to 9 months. And right now I haven't smoked any cigarettes, and like we're gonna keep it that way because that's the thing that I need to stop doing. But there are other things that like, it's, you know, I've been eating a lot of ice cream and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. At least I'm not smoking cigarettes, because the cigarettes are gonna kill me before the ice cream does. At least I'm not drinking. At least I'm not like, you know, at friggin' basement doing K-bumps, which I've never done that before. But like, at least I'm not doing those things, okay? Because I know where that leads, right? 3, 2, 3 on the timer. I know where that leads. So we're not doing that. But if you're gonna like, if you're going to eat sweets and things like that, at least do things that are of a higher quality, that use better ingredients, right? So like Whole Foods 365, their sandwich cookies are like $2-3, whereas like if you buy Oreos at Target, I don't know actually because I don't buy Oreos, but the sandwich cookies at Whole Foods are vegan also. Yeah, there are still preservatives and stuff, but there's like, I want to say over 300 like chemicals that are not allowed in the products that Whole Foods carries. And this is not a Whole Foods commercial, okay? I'm just making an example. But like Oreos are gonna be like $5, and they're chock full of bullshit, okay? They're expensive AF, and they're full of terrible, terrible ingredients. Okay, it's maybe gonna cost more than the sandwich cookies you're gonna get at the dollar store, but the point isn't about the money. 4, 3, 2 on the timer. Trust that the money's gonna come. Trust that you're gonna be provided for. You do what you have to do for yourself. Do not put yourself in situations that are going to make you feel sick, miserable, irate, discontented, all that stuff. Do not do that. Make sure that you are being in situations that make you feel light, jubilant, buoyant, healthy, safe, sane, sound, all right? Because it is an energetic thing. And the food does affect your energy. Obviously, the food affects your energy, okay? And then, yeah, I mean, even like body dysmorphia has been really up for me lately. That's something that you got to think about. Whatever it is that gets you locked in and trapped into this false matrix, that's being activated for a reason. And it is to keep you locked in. It is to keep you in this prison in your mind. And you have to be your own sovereign. Just the way that you are, just the way that you were made, is what's going to bring you into alignment. 543 on the timer. Right? So let's leave them desolate. 0550. The thing is, I feel like there's also been like cycling, 555, cycling, looping of all of this, like, all of this malevolent ideation. I'm also picking up maladaptive dissociation. There's been a lot of 5s, there's been a lot of 3s, so this has to do with Mercury, this has to do with the Sun, it has to do with Leo, it has to do with Gemini, it has to do with Virgo, but mainly it has to do, actually, isn't it Cancer? No, it is Gemini. It has to do with Gemini. Stop caring about what other people think about you. Stop worrying about, you need to be self-possessed right now. You need to stop worrying about how others are perceiving you right now, because that's a distraction that takes us out of ourselves. So the point is, with the food, you can go to, you don't have to go to Whole Foods. You could go to, I mean, you could go to Trader Joe's, but you can go to Aldi, you can go to Lidl, you can go to any grocery store, and if you actually look for it, you will be able to find things that are better for you. And also, what's going to be better for you than eating a Hostess cupcake is having the ingredients at home to make, what are those things called? Is to make the cups, you know, a cake in a cup in your microwave, or like a single cookie, like two cookies in your toaster oven. And I know that's a lot of energy, but you have to make the decision, either or. There are 3 choices here. You either get a more expensive prepackaged thing, which is second tier, I would say, to 1, making it yourself, or you with like homemade, which if you don't have the energy, then maybe do the tier 2 thing, but tier 1 would be to make it yourself. And then tier 3 is just like to do the thing that's going to make you feel bad and make you sick. All right, if you're purging, there's definitely stuff going on in your gut. The solar plexus is activated right now. So the third eye is activated right now. The solar plexus, the ajna, the solar plexus, it's the Muladhara, or is it the Svadhisthana? No, this is the Svadhisthana. And the crown chakra is also being activated right now. But there's a lot coming up with the throat chakra. So just be mindful and try your best. That is what you have to do in order to, I guess, transcend these energies and entities. I think I've made it very clear. Make sure that you have your wards on you. Make sure that you're doing energetic cleansing and clearing. Make sure that you're putting your bubble of protection on before you go out into the world. Don't make eye contact with people who are not self-possessed, because if they're not possessed by self, what's possessing them? Demons try to body jump, just like Frank Ocean said. Do not make eye contact with these hoes on the street. Don't talk to random people calling out to you. Don't let nobody touch you. Don't be shaking hands with weird people. Don't be hugging people you don't know, because demons are trying to body jump right now. Stay blessed, stay woke, stay protected. I love you all truly and deeply. I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you on the flip side. If you want to book a session with me, the link to my Ko-Fi is in the caption. Peace.